filled up, which is awesome. Sorry guys, one moment. We are locked onto some crazy expansion. All right, how's it going, everybody? This is Ismortah, and from my stream this morning during my board game stream, which is Saturdays, 9 a.m. Central, I'm going to be showing you some Star Wars Armada, an unboxing video of the new Invisible Hand expansion pack. This is hot off the shelves, just released Friday of last week. Or I want to say, yeah, Friday last week. Boom. It's got purpley shadowy, so it's definitely, Ismortah approved. And yeah, we're going to check this out. So let me make sure the sounds sound good. And definitely remember, you can catch me also Sundays, 9 a.m. Central for my video game stream. And if you want to see schedule updates and what content I'm going to be broadcasting, be sure to check me out on Twitter at Shadow Balance. And of course, you can check out my VODs on twitch.tv/Ismortah or YouTube at Shadow Balance Games. All right, video looks good, sound looks good, purpley looks good. Let's do it. All right, so this is just gonna be an unboxing video. I'm not gonna tell you how to play Armada or any of that shit. I'm gonna show you unboxing, what's in the box, and maybe what's some of the cool ideas and stuff you can do with cards that are revealed. I don't know anything about this, so much so I don't even want to glance at the back of the box because that would be a spoiler of my unspoiling. So let's open this up and see what it's all about. So I don't know off the top of my head. I know it's definitely not a small ship, it's that big. But I don't know if this could technically count as a large ship because it's kind of doesn't have the girth. But it might be barely long enough to be a large ship. But I'm thinking actually maybe a medium ship. But we'll find out. I have no idea. So this is a new ship for the Separatist faction for Star Wars Armada. And there are other ships coming out later this month, and I believe one next month for Star Wars Armada. One more Separatist ship and 2 new Galactic Republic ships. But this is the first new ship besides the fleet starter for the Separatist faction, not including squadrons. All right. Deal with plastic later. Cool. Let's open this baby up. Man, I really love the purpley color. It's Ismo approved. All right. First, let's pull out the ship. Definitely looks like it's kind of got really, we'll see more when revealed. It's really got like a submarine style to it. Very long and sleek. And then the telescoping near the base of it. All right, we got some stuff. Considering this is General Grievous's ship, I would be surprised if there wasn't a General Grievous commander or maybe a General Grievous officer, because right now General Grievous is only available as a pilot in one of the squadrons, in the squadron pack for Separatists. All right, so that's everything in here. Man, I can really drink in the purple, though. It's awesome. We'll leave this so you can see. All right. So we got stuff to build, which we will build it. And we got some rules. We got some cards. We'll check out the new stuff later. Let's check out the pretties now. Let's sit down a little bit, but I'll hold stuff up. All right, so first we got the bases, and wow, man, look at this. It is a large base. This does count as a large ship. So like I said, it doesn't really have the girth. It has really the girth of a medium ship, but due to its length and maybe its weapons and shielding, it does count as a large ship. So I say that because this is a large base. Or am I wrong? Or is this a medium base? Am I wrong? I thought this was a large base. Maybe it is a medium. I could be completely wrong. I forget the size difference between a medium. I think it's a large base. Anyway, we will put it together today. All right, so let's go ahead and get this puppy out. Actually, I'll go home and cut open this stuff. You have the Providence class carrier or the Providence class dreadnought. Dreadnought sounds like it's got more punch, but actually it's the carrier that looks like it has better stats, unless I'm mistaken. But we'll take a look. I do love me some Armada, especially the droid. Like everything's cool, but like especially the droids, is because everything has got really like sleek, sharp looks, pretty sinister looking. This cool looking ship. I do like the submarine look of it. All right. So we got a bunch of this, all your tokens pieces. Let's punch this stuff out. These are the shields. These are showing that different abilities are disabled. These are tokens showing that this one's token as a token of non-action. Then you got your ship defense systems, proof of purchase of the ship. All right. All right, then we have our cards, which I'm just gonna take it out, but we're gonna look at it last. All of our dudes. All right, then we got the ship. All right, so let's take a close look at this bad boy. All right, yeah, definitely a submarine appearance to it. Cool. All right, so I'll do a bunch of different angles. So this is the side of the ship. Take a look at the top. It really does have a submarine look to it. And that large tail fin, sort of like, you know, telescope. It's also got a lower fin too. Got some striping. Got that inner interior that ships can fly into it, sort of thing. It's got, looks like scrapes on the sides, probably for guns. Same thing with below. There's that opening. It's got some sort of projection at the top too, in yellow. Dive, dive. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it just when you think of like an Imperial Star Destroyer, it is smaller. So that's why I wonder, is this base really a large base? I think it is though. All right, so there's our dude. All right, tokens, whatever, blah. Ship, when we take a look at it, it looks like it's, I was gonna say it's a, you know, like a pickle boat, like Akbar, but honestly, looking at this grid, it's kind of good every direction. It shoots from 6 on the sides and 5 in the front. That's actually just all around a good ship, actually. You don't necessarily favor that you're have to face somebody or orbit it by shooting from the side. He could pretty versatile, looks like. Yeah, it does look like the better weapons are on the Dreadnought, so that much is true. But not by much, so it's probably more abilities. What's interesting though is when you look at the anti-fighter barrage, you can either have one blue, so you're shooting a little at range, or you can have two blacks in close. So that's very interesting. So like if you know you're going to get attacked by enemy fighters, this is the better choice because black is range 1. But if you want to pick off guys at range, then this is the better choice. But if you know you could be at danger close, this is actually better for fighter support. Interesting. All right, so actually before I get the cards, let's go ahead and take a look at what is new in the rules, which is very small. Okay, so it does, according to this, the invisible hand is a large ship. So it does follow large ship rules, even though, like I said, it really looks more like a medium ship. It is large. And that's really the only rule. It also has cards that affect counter X. And as well as grit, but yeah, no additional rules, but according to this, it is a large ship. I thought so. I didn't think there was a base bigger than this, because like even the Super Star Destroyer uses like 2 of these bases. But we'll build this last, put it together. All right, so let's look at the cards. We got a bunch of stuff. And so the cards, again, use this new format. The fact that you don't have the mini cards, and they kind of changed the UI. So some abilities looks like are now on the sides of the card as well as the bottom. And then for the ship cards, they have the cool backs so you can see arted up and all the upgrades. And then if you want to see the detailed stats on the other side. As opposed to having a large card, you sort of see both on one side. It's sort of like mixed use. But these are pretty good pictures of the ships. And you can at a hot glance quickly see everything you put on it and what they are. Okay, so these ships, look at one at a time. We'll start with the carrier. This is what it's all about. So it's got the good anti-fighter barrage. Wow, this is a carrier. Look at its squadron command. It's 4 engineering force. It's got amazing shields, amazing squadron. That's really high. Like it doesn't have much hull. It's got the hull of like a medium ship, but man, look at that engineering squadron. That's actually huge. Engineering might be the same as Imperial Star Destroyer, I don't remember, but squadron, that's actually greater. That's like you're actually bringing in an assault carrier. That's really good. Its movement is really terrible, but its maneuverability at speed 1 is really good. So you can turn on a dime, but if you're in motion, your turning's terrible. So you want to really stick with. You want to really know your position before you go into battle, or just rely on the fact that you're going to be kind of stationary and just doing like turns just to keep getting advantageous. So you get your line of sight right at a ship, so you have that double arc is the idea. And since this guy has great shooting on all sides except from the back, and he turns on a dime going slow, he can really get the double arc and do massive damage. And then it's also a good fighter support with its anti-fighter barrage and the fact that you can have command 4 squadrons. That's awesome. And you can see all the damage on the ship. And you look at these, it's got brace, it's got redirect, it's got the one that you can cancel a crit, and then also I believe that's shit, I forget the name of it, but it's the one that you can counter. I think it's barrage. I forget the name of it, but it's when you can counterattack when someone attacks you as a reaction. So yeah, with double arts and counterattacking in squadron support, that is pretty awesome. All right, so let's see if we can't find the difference between these two cards. The Dreadnought's the more expensive card. The Dreadnought, what's interesting, well, you can see the cost on the other side. Actually, you know what? When you look at these, which is interesting, normally you have one that's more expensive than the other. Both these ships cost exactly the same. So it really just a redistribution of how you're using the ship instead of having one that's quote unquote better that costs more. It's like, for example, like you could argue, is it better to have one shot at range for squadrons or have two shots in close, right? Let's see, what else is different? The only other difference is along the sides, the carrier shoots 2 blue, whereas the Dreadnought only shoots 1 blue, shoots an additional red instead. So it's definitely got better shots on the Dreadnought. But again, if you know you're going to be close to the enemy and just turn on a dime, then this might arguably be, you know, a better choice. Unless you just want to sweep and shoot people at range with multiple ships, then Dreadnought might be a better choice with the blue and the 3 red. But yeah, it's interesting the fact that it's just a redistribution of how you want to spec your ship instead of having one that's more expensive and better. Which is interesting. All right, and then we got, let's see here. Let's take a look at the titles next. So we have, we'll do the trademark one last. We have Invincible, which you gain an additional, I forget what that's called, a defense icon in upgrade bar. So you have like more defensive capabilities. If only 5, it's pretty good. Then there's also the Lucid Voice that treat your rear hull zones printed battery armament as 3 red dice. That's insane. Shooting 3 red in the back when if you're at range, what you normally want to do is to cruise by and shoot 3 red. That is crazy, man. This ship has like so little hull, but has so much weapons and fighters and shielding. That's crazy. The battery armament of your left and right hull zones are each increased by 1 black die and decreased by 1 blue die. Okay, so you have it so if you're danger close, you can do more crits by shooting missiles and shit on the sides. Or you can use this so if someone's tailing you, you can kite them and shoot at 3 red, just like you would like a curling Corvette or some shit. That is really cool. All right, then we have the trademark Invisible Hand, which is super wordy. So let's see what it's all about. This is it's definitely the most expensive out of all of them. While deploying fleets, if you are in the play area, when you would deploy a squadron with Swarm, you may set that squadron aside next to your ship card instead. You may set aside up to 5 squadrons this way. And then when you do a squadron command, for each squadron you would activate with this command, you may place one of your set aside squadrons with distance 3. It cannot move this activation, and if it has AI, increase its AI value by 1. Holy fucking shit. I'm sorry. This basically gives it so your ship has a hangar bay. And what does that mean? In Armada, what that means is instead of having your normally when you play, let's say this is a fighter squadron, you'd have your fighter squadron your ship out at all times, flying around, which means they can get picked off before they do something, right? What this is saying you can do is you can have a whole bunch of fighter squadrons act like they're inside the ship, and you can have them deploy and attack when you feel like it. That is fucking cool. Damn. So really it's like these 3 different specs for the titles is you can go shields, or you can go guns, or you can go squadrons. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. And especially, like I said, this has Squadron 4, and you can hide 5 ships. That means this guy can easily, during its turn as an action, spit out 4 squadrons. and even still then, even command another squadron somewhere else. That is crazy, crazy stuff. All right, so next we'll look up personnel. Oh, I found my dude. Who called it? I called it. Found my dude. Cool. All right, so we'll do personnel next. I'm surprised I didn't get a commander though, unless they changed, because typically every flagship, every new ship introduces a new commander, unless they changed how the commander is done. But I thought it was the icon that you see that person's head. But am I wrong? Or is that a... I think they might have changed it. All right, well, anyway. Next dude I have, as far as personnel, you can have on your... Actually, no, this would say. Give me a sec. The ship. All right, so that means personnel. This means gunner. And then the one with just a head, where you can have one per game, is you have a commander. So that means if someone doesn't have either one of those, then that would be a commander. So I guess I have two different commanders. Okay, awesome. And I'll show you those last. Okay, so for personnel, you have TI-99, which is a droid. While a friendly unactivated squadron is at distance 1 to 3, it gains counter 3, or if it has a printed counter keyword, gains an additional counter 1. After it performs a counter attack, toggle its activation slider to the activation side. This is pretty cool. This allows it so if you do have squadrons like I talked about sitting out, if they get attacked, they would have counter 3, which is insane. That's basically like it does a basic attack as a reaction. That is really good. Man, that's crazy. Some great upgrades. Next we have, and notice it's unique, meaning you can only have one in play, period. It's unique. Meaning it has the dot before the name. What's up, Nacris? Yeah, man. The battleship title is, that looks really cool. Then we have Tykes. Again, it's unique. This guy, when you reveal a command, you may place a matching command token on this card. If you do, gain a command token of your choice. During the command phase, if you have a command token on this card, you must choose that command on each command dial that is to be assigned to you and show those dials to your opponent, then discard the command token. So this basically allows you to like store a command to do additional command whenever you want. So that's pretty cool. So if you know like in the future I'm gonna get hit pretty hard, you can save an engineering command so that when you're in battle and you know you have to do a shot, you can choose a different command to the one that you want to do. Whereas this guy who's normally command 3, you have to think ahead of time, and if you make a bad choice, you're kind of stuck with it. He allows you to be a little more flexible. All right, then we have, looks like first of 2 commanders. I don't know what these, what it means on the side of him, so I have to look into that. That 4 with that symbol, I have to look that up. But Admiral Trench. At the start of your ship phase, you may reveal and discard 1 command dial from this card. If you do, until the end of the round, when a friendly ship spends only a matching command token to resolve command, that ship will resolve that command as if it had spent a dial and token of the same type instead. So this guy does kind of like the opposite of Tykes. He allows you to force the opponent to do a command that you want the opponent to do instead of what they want to do, if I'm reading this correctly. Maybe that 4 means how many command dials are on this, and then you choose possibly. Maybe that's a symbol for command dial in 4. Maybe. I have to look that up. And then lastly, of course, because I mean this is his command ship. Hello. We have General Grievous. as your commander. And he's actually not that expensive. He's only 20 points. For a commander, that's actually relatively cheap, considering there are cards like Tarkin that it's like 36 points. Or, what's the dude's name? Thrawn, he was like 30, upwards of 30 points. When a friendly ship or squadron is destroyed, you may choose one friendly ship or unique squadron at distance 1 to 5 of the destroyed ship or squadron. If you do, the chosen ship or unique squadron may either ready one of its defense tokens or recover one of its defense tokens and then exhaust that token. All right, so what allows you to do is basically repurpose when something dies. So if something dies, if you've already... Okay, so for example, let me show you for instance. These are your defensive systems, right? Let's say you have a brace and a redirect. When you play the game, you can spend it, each of them once per round, but if you spend it twice, you can do it twice, but then you lose it permanently. You can't use that defense system for the rest of the game. And then typically at the end of the round, they refresh. What that card allows you to do is when I have a squadron die, I could then get back something that I lost and exhausted. That way the next round, you can use it as normal and you have it back. So it's like you can weaponize your squadrons to protect your carrier, sort of thing. Because you can use more of these defensive systems. The fact that you take half damage, or you can redirect damage to an area that has more shields so you don't take any hull damage because this guy doesn't have much hull. That's pretty cool. All right, so now we have the different upgrades you can put on your ship. And the ship looks like it actually can also take fleet commands, which is not common. So that's pretty cool. Wow, this guy's got some really cool looking shit. Okay, so first we'll start with defensive systems. We have 2 of the thermal shields, which could go on a medium or large ship. And this is a large ship. But because it's medium, means it could also go on the medium ship you get like in the starter fleet as well. While defending, after the attacker gathers dice, you may spend 1 brace token. And if you do, choose and remove half of the dice in the attack pool rounded down. Oh my god, that is crazy. And it basically allows you to do a brace for the dice as opposed to doing a brace for the hits. So like if you know the opponent is also going to be using dice to do certain effects and stuff, you can just annihilate half his dice. Which also would reduce if he's doing an attack, but it's basically you're doing your brace before you take the shots from the brace. That's pretty cool. All right, next up we have Hot Landing. And this is unique, so you can only have 1 in the game. Whereas you see Thermal Shields, it's not unique, so you can have this on multiple ships. You just can only have 1 of these on a ship at a time. You can have this on every ship. Hot Landing's unique. It's a fleet command. At the start of the squadron phase, friendly squadrons with Adept gain grit until the end of the phase. When a friendly squadron with Adept is destroyed, you may choose 1 enemy ship at distance 1 or 2 of that squadron. If you do, that ship gains 1 raid token. Cool, so that's what it's called, Hot Landing. So this allows you to say if squadron is destroyed, it basically crash lands on the ship, and then you can give the ship raid tokens, which depending on what you're using raid tokens for, basically it disables the ship as though you boarded the ship. So you can see if you do that with General Grievous, you could say, I'm going to have all my squadrons swarm around your ship, and then when my squadron dies, not only will my ship get upgrades, but your ship will then get raid tokens and get weaker. So it's weaponizing your squadrons from dying. That's pretty cool. All right, so we have one of those. Next, I have Jedi Hostage. When an enemy ship declares you as a target of a non-barrage attack, which is that counterattack with a shot, if this card is readied, meaning you haven't exhausted it. Exhausted means you've used an ability and turned it to the side. So readied means it's face up. If this card is readied, the attacker gains a raid token of its choice if able. When an enemy ship at close range reveals a command, it may discard a squadron dial to exhaust this card, meaning you can't do the ability. While defending, if this card is exhausted, you cannot spend more than one defense token. So this card is sort of like a gamble. Like, I could make it so the other ship has a raid token because I took a hostage. But if this is exhausted, then it's easier to hit my ship because I can only use one defense token. So it is gambly. All right, then I have one which looks like a really cool picture, B2 Rocket Troopers, which is basically looks like a B2 battle droid, but has a rocket pack. It's pretty cool. While performing a non-barrage attack against a ship at close to medium range, you may exhaust this card. If you do, the defender gains one raid token of your choice. While attacking a squadron, you may exhaust this card. If you do, add one die of any color already in your attack pool to your attack pool. Meaning, it's like you send the rocket troopers to actually attack the squadrons. So that's pretty cool. So you can have the rocket troopers add more damage to attacking squadrons, or they can attack a capital ship and give it raid tokens. So it's like you're attacking with troops. That's a pretty cool idea. That's really cool. They just fly around shooting at shit. That's cool. And then my last card that I have two of is Point Defense Ion Cannons. And you see that is the invisible hand. Non-huge ship only. What non-huge ship means is basically it can't be a superstar destroyer, because that's a huge ship. So, so anything with multiple bases is huge. If you just have one large base, it's a large ship. All right. While defending at close range or distance 1, during the spend defense token step, you may force the attacker to reroll one die of your choice. So that's really good, especially if you know someone's trying to crit you to activate an ability. If they rolled a crit, you could basically have them reroll so they don't have that crit. It's basically stopping really terrible stuff from happening to your ship. Not necessarily stopping damage, but stopping terrible shit. And that's why it's only 4 points. It's stopping the crit. Cool, that's all the cards. A lot of goodies. It looks like this is really themed with play that people have been drifting from, which is playing with raid tokens and boarding other people's ships and actually using more squadrons in combat. Really what people have been using more as of late is the one-shot approach, that you have ships that can either one-shot take out ships before they do battle, or ships that support and give something so many shields that you just can't take out anything. So it's adding more versatility to play. The fact that, oh, I can change the effects that are on ships, or I can actually use squadrons for something else other than just, hey, they die fast. Well, okay, if you play these cards when they die, then good shit happens. So that's pretty cool. So the last thing I'll show you, to keep not to have the stream go too long, is I'll assemble right quick what this guy looks like. He's got his stuff built. But yeah, that's some fun mechanics. I think the most fun thing in here is definitely the B2 rocket. The fact that it feels like you're attacking with troopers in space. But I think the best ability is really the thermal shield. It's like, wow, that's awesome. And it's cool. There's more, like I said, more chances to do raid tokens, which sounded cool at the time, but wasn't really valid in combat. And it's cool that you can have with the titles, each ship feels completely different. Or you have it more a tank, DPS, or sort of like a hybrid that you're more support and doing fighter support. All right, so let's put this dude together, which doesn't take long at all because I've done this many times. So let's go, you know, I really like the fighter support. I think I'll go carrier. The 3 reds are attractive though. But man, 2 black. Maybe it could be danger close. Yeah, we'll go Dreadnought. We'll go Dreadnought. See if I'm doing this correctly. How it was right the first time? Jesus Christ. I don't remember. I thought I remembered. Did I do it? There we go. All right. So now we want to put on the shields. The dials. If you haven't seen this before, it's pretty cool because you could show actually on the ship what the shields are. So like shield 6. Oh, I took hit, shield 5. My one game design critique though is they should have done that for damage too. Because if you use the damage tokens from Star Wars Rebellion, you could actually show the hits and place the tokens on the ship. So you can see, oh, it took this much shield damage and this much hull damage. That would have been more immersive. That's my 2 cents. And that's why I see a lot of people actually play that way. That's because it's cooler. The only thing that doesn't count for is if you took a crit. But if that's the case, then you could just slide the card underneath the base with the crit or something, as opposed to having it in front of you and people don't know how to glance what's the status of a ship. So it would, design-wise, would be better. That way you're looking in one place for what's happening, which makes sense where the battle is, instead of, hey, I'm attacking this ship, and then you have to look somewhere else to see what's going on with the ship. That's just, you know, kind of haphazard, having to look 2 places instead of 1. All right, anyway. But yeah, this whole dial feature is pretty cool. It's pretty easy to utilize and simple to put together. So it is a cool idea. And it's fun to rotate and dial anyway. All right, so yeah, the ship is ready to go. And if you're looking at this, you may like, hey man, where are your command dials and all that crap? That is because in the fleet starters, they changed the components that you have in the core game so that all of the plastic is in the core box. So the only plastic you get when you're getting an expansion now is the ship and the base. If you're looking for the command dials or the dials for showing what speed you're going with your ship, those are all actually in the core game. So it's less plastic. And especially if you get a lot of ships, you know, the most ships you'll probably have out in any given time anyway is like 8, let's say. Ships aren't squadrons. So why would you collect 20 dials in your collection when you only need 8 to play? And that's probably the learning that they came away with is when you're playing the game, you can only play with so many ships. So you don't need to have the dials with the ship. Have the dials with the main game, and it gives you expansions of different ships you can use in the game, right? And boom. We have ourselves Invisible Hand. Cool, well, thanks for watching, everybody. This was my unboxing video and all the goodies. All of this can be yours for a low price of, go get it at your local hobby store. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe on any of my social medias, YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter, if you like what you're seeing. Again, the VODs will be available within 24 hours on Twitch and YouTube. And my next stream is going to be Sunday, 9 a.m. Central, doing some video game action. And be sure to check Twitter for schedule changes and content updates. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. This is Ismortah, and I'll space you next time.